All right, welcome to the Odd Bros podcast. I just got finished watching the Tyron Woodley fight. And like I said this before the fight, on some online forums or whatever, I said that Burns was going to win because I know Tyron Woodley doesn't have heart. It's not a matter of like his skill, whatever. He's just a fucking bitch, man. Like, he doesn't have any heart. How are you going to be the champion and like you're just backing up against the wall? Like, if you don't want to fight, like, don't disrespect the octagon like that. Just don't show up. Just be like, yeah, I don't want to fight anymore. Retire when you have all your faculties. That's fine. If you don't have the will, if you don't have the drive to fight anymore, then don't fight. Why would you waste everyone's time? And yeah, like, just go around that. I really like Gilbert Burns' performance. I feel like he really wanted to get that knockout because he wasn't really throwing that many setup shots. But whenever he would stun or daze Tyron Woodley, it would be off a jab, off of a leg kick. He would be setting it up. But other times, and like more often than he should have, he would just come in throwing shots. And obviously, Tyron Woodley wasn't throwing anything back, so that's fine. In fact, he could have poured on more shots. Tyron Woodley wasn't doing anything. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm just really just disappointed in this. I hate to see these kind of performances. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna go in there without the mentality to win, at least try to go out on your shield, because you're gonna get a beating regardless. And it was just like, Burns really put on a performance here. He really did. But I feel like going forward, I don't see him. I don't see him being able to beat a Kamaru Usman with the kind of fight he fought today. Definitely not Jorge Masvidal, because the kind of stand-up mistakes he was making, just coming throwing shots instead of trying to set them up with the jab or with the leg kick, I feel like Masvidal would eat him up. Same thing with Usman. I wouldn't have the same kind of fight he got now, but maybe he might get into the exchanges. But Tyron Woodley, just a coward. He doesn't have any heart. Like, just look at his body language. He just looks like he just needs to retire. If I'm being honest, I just want to see him retire. I would never want to see him in a fight ever again. Like, he's not gonna contender anymore. He's not in the title picture anymore. His time has come and gone. He looked every single year of his 38 years of age. The athleticism's gone. And he throws punches like, when you're in the gym, you're doing shadow boxing, just trying to impress people, just trying to throw fast shots. You don't fully extend. Right? You don't twist your wrist all the way. You don't extend that shoulder. That was him. When he was throwing a combination, he would throw like 2 jabs just from his arm and throw a slapping right hand. And like, yeah, it looks nice, but everyone knows there's not going to be any power behind that. And I don't know. Maybe his confidence is gone, but he just looks like a coward. He doesn't have balls. He doesn't have guts. Like, I know it takes immense courage to get into the octagon and get to the ring, and don't say any bullshit like that to me. Like, yes, I've fucking done this before. I've done boxing. I've competed. I've done taekwondo. You know what I mean? So don't say, oh, you know what you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. Yes, I do. I can speak on these things. Obviously, not to the level that they're doing it, but it doesn't make a difference. A fight's a fight regardless. And like, you just have to fight with your heart. You have to fight with your heart. If your heart's not in it, just don't do it. You're just going to go in there and take unnecessary punishment. And no one wants to see that. No one wants to see people go into the ring without their heart into it. And I really wish Gilbert just knocked his ass out. I wish he just choked the life out of him. I was just shouting, like, knock him out, man. Put this guy to sleep. Because he's just a bitch, man. Like, I don't ever want to see Tyron Woodley in the UFC. I don't think Dana White's going to book him anytime soon. Even if he does, I don't want to see him with any of the top guys. If he stays in the UFC, he's going to be relegated to a gatekeeper role. Because, like there's nothing else to offer. I'm just, like, looking at the replay, just getting the shit beat out of him. He's not even retaliating. He's just putting his hands out, and he's just content to be there. He's not showing anything worth watching. And it's, like, just disappointment. Sorry about that. Just had to regain my composure back there. But yeah, I don't know. I feel really strongly about that. When I like fighting sports, I like individual sports, and the reason why I do like fighting in individual sports is because you truly see the competitive nature of an individual without having to rely on anybody else, and you see them. You know what I mean? Like, you see what's really in their heart, and we've seen what is in Tyron Woodley's heart, or like lack thereof. I understand they put themselves through a lot, but Tyron really showed us in the past that he can do more than this. He can achieve a higher level, and we expect more out of him. At least before this, after the Kamaru Usman fight, like my hope in Woodley started to fade, and now it's completely gone after watching this. From a technical standpoint, in terms of athleticism, yes, Woodley is 38 years old, but he's an athletic freak. You know, he hit the genetic lottery. He's very gifted athletically. Technically, wrestling-wise, he's very good. Stand-up-wise, he is more than just a right hand, but like no one's ever going to confuse him with a world-class stand-up fighter. Same thing with Gilbert Burns, mostly a ground-based fighter, jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Yes, his striking is crisp. He throws good shots, but it's not like he's putting a lot of thought into what he's throwing. It's not like, okay, after, I'm going to hook off the jab, see what he throws me back, whatever, hit him with the pull counter. It's not like that. He's saying, okay, I'm going to land this punch, I'm going to do this, and he's looking for a way to take you down. Like in this fight with Woodley, he knew Woodley was only going to throw one shot at the most. So he would duck in, try to go for the takedown. And I'll give Woodley this. He had some good takedown defenses. But then it was like he wouldn't try to do anything off of it. He put his back against the fence. And he threw enough shots where Herb Dean wouldn't break them up. But not enough to be like, okay, he's trying to mount some kind of offense here. And Burns, he put in the performance of a lifetime, really. And I kind of wonder how much of this is due to the fact that there are no fans around. Because fighting Woodley in an empty arena compared to a full arena, even given the fact that he's not champion anymore, people still would come out to see him. And who knows how that could have affected Gilbert Burns mentally. Who knows that could have affected Tyron Woodley mentally. But in the end, it's just like a really disappointing performance. I really think Gilbert Burns needs to work more on, the setup punches, being more consistent offensively in terms of his stand-up game. I'm not saying he's a scrub. I'm not saying he's a bum. He has speed. He has power. But his stand-up is like, it's just enough to cover up for his ground game, like his main aspect. But it's not like his stand-up game is not inspiring fear into anybody. If all these guys fight, they just try to keep the fight standing because, yes, he is powerful, he is athletic, but it's not an intellectual stand-up game he's fighting. Yeah, I can see him. I really do see him getting knocked out by a more technical striker, like a Jorge Masvidal. I'm not saying because Masvidal is like so much better, but no, just because the kind of flaws. If you're not throwing any setup shots, you're just coming in already throwing the hooks, the over right hands, you're gonna get caught. And if you get caught like that with 4-ounce gloves, it's over for you. It's over. You're gonna take a nap. But yeah, back to Tyron Woodley. Where does he go going forward after this fight? What does he do? I just says he should retire. Unless he wants to be a gatekeeper, who knows? Maybe go to like a Bellator, maybe try to get his confidence back if he still wants to fight. Even he says he's doing music as well. I just don't believe his heart's in it at the moment. I could be wrong because no one knows what goes on in these guys' minds. Maybe he just be going through a phase right now, and he just needs to regain confidence somehow. But I don't know. I don't see him competing at the top level again in the UFC anytime soon, if ever, given the fact that he is 40, and these guys are just getting younger. Like a young athletic wrestler is a dime a dozen in the UFC, especially in the welterweight divisions. Like it's not like, oh, he's some like world class striker that we haven't seen. Like no, he has a generic style. Like yes, he does have power, he does have athleticism, but it's a generic style that a lot of fighters have. So, I mean, if Woodley doesn't bring anything else to the table, these younger guys are just going to, walk through him. Or they're just going to be better at what his style is. Like we saw with Gilbert Burns. So, I mean, that's where we go. But with Gilbert Burns, he just cleans up technically just a little bit. Sky's the limit. He'll give anybody problems. If he fights the same way he fought against Usman, I don't think he'd win. But then again, like I said, just because he knew Woodley's not going to mount any kind of offense, he can come in willy-nilly and nothing's going to be coming back. So obviously his team's going to have a better game plan going for Usman, being that he is a number one contender after this fight. Or even Masvidal, but who knows, right? The way the division's set up, maybe him and Leon Edwards, who knows? The way things are going now, people aren't going to be like, the fans don't want to see it because the fans aren't even in the arena. So you can put anything out there, the fans will watch. So, yeah, given the fact that, it's quarantine, no one's going to the actual stadium, so any kind of fight will take it. So I just say, you know what, if you can't get the Masvidal fight, If you can't get the Usman fight, put him in with Leon Edwards. As for Tyron Woodley, go yourself. And that's all for today's podcast. I just want to give you my reaction on the fight. We're going to come out with some more videos later on this week. And we apologize for not posting in a while. We're just waiting on some new equipment. We're going to update our look. So, be excited. The future has good things to come for Odd Bros Sports. Odd Nation, we're out.